Let me tell you something. This album is amazing, bro. I'm gonna be completely honest. Let God sort him out. It's probably my pick. This might be a crazy take. I don't know. This might be my pick for the best album this year so far. I'm not gonna lie. I've been listening to it repeat after repeat after repeat. It's nice, short, and sweet. It goes straight into the point. There's not too much, too much foreplay, not too much going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like one of those like you take a bite of a delicious, delectable meal and you savor in it. You just like, damn. You wish you had a little bit more, but at the same time, it was perfect. Now let me get on with this review because like I have a lot of feelings. I also bought the bundle for the album, which I'll show you in a minute. This album is 13 tracks long. Let's go through all the songs. Let me tell you how I feel about it, and let me just skip the foreplay, right? So the birds don't sing. This is a beautiful track. This is the track that really hits home to me because if you don't know, I recently had a parent pass away, and I ain't gonna lie, that second verse from Malice, it kind of hit my heart because it reminded me of a time that I had, having a conversation with my father before he, inevitably passed away, and I do believe that you should be more mindful for people who have lost a lot of people in their lives. That's it, man. Like because a lot of the times, like you don't know what they're going through, you don't know what's going on. Neither here nor there. Chains and Whips, Kendrick Lamar, he killed the verse. The verse was amazing. The verse was spectacular. I like the rhyme scheme. I like the energy that he put into this track. I'm not particularly a fan of the beat, if I'm being completely honest. Now, Pharrell production all through this album, amazing. I think that is really good. This song in particular, it took me a little minute to like get used to the instrumental. You know what I mean? Like it was cool. I genuinely feel like I really enjoyed it. It is not too crazy. I feel like the verse was blowing out of proportion a little bit, but at the same time, I completely understand why the record label wouldn't allow him to, you know, put this track out because this track, is very, very. It's a crazy track, man. If you haven't listened to it, you should listen to it. And that I just can't stop talking about that rhyme scheme that Kendrick was on with that. And it's not like Pusha and Malice didn't have a good verse on this track too. It's just that the standout was the standout. POV, I like POV. I like the way that the instrumental is. Every time when I hear it, I'm always just shaking my head like, like you know what I mean. It sounds like you about to go into war or something like that, or you about to run up on the op that was talking mad head a couple blocks away, and you really got to take care of him. I like Tyler's verse. Tyler was rapping on this one. You know what I mean? Like Tyler's really a rapper. I ain't gonna lie. He's one of my favorite rappers. So when he was spitting, he was spitting. You know what I mean? I felt it. When his energy usually on these type of tracks is very very charismatic. He has a few lines to where it's just like he really wants to be out there. He want to be taken seriously as a rapper, and you can see it because he's trying to hang with these top tier lyricists, and he's actually doing a pretty good job. You know what I mean? Is a really fun, well, not fun track. I'm not gonna say it's more so just like a real enjoyable track to have back to back to back. Like 1 through 3 is a crazy push, and then you get to the lead single. So be it. So be it is the main single inside this amazing album. You know what I mean? It also garners the most attention because he is directly dissing Travis Scott, and he's also dissing Jim Jones. The Travis Scott bar makes sense. You know what I mean? Travis, although he's also one of my favorite rappers too, Travis is always been kind of a snake, if I'm being honest. And it's very interesting to see another person that's like, on the same level as him have that convo like, yo, Like that shit that you was doing was fucking weird. You know what I mean? Because why would you have Drake on a song dissing your mentor? It doesn't make, word. But hey, it is what it is. And then we go into H Trumpets. H Trumpets, I like this one. The instrumental is very, very interesting, very captivating. I feel like the verses are very strong. A lot of these verses are just very, very good. I'm not gonna lie. I think this one was the one with heavily trumpets on there, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. A lot of the I'm not gonna say the songs morph into each other because there are very distinct songs that I really enjoy. It's just that again, I'm on my fourth, fifth, whatever listen. I've been trying to analyze this album a lot, and sometimes you get a little confused on which song is which. You know what I mean? I probably should have listened to the album again. That's why I bought it. Um, and then we have All Things Concerned. Well, all things considered, and I like this song. There is this one part at the end that I don't necessarily like, but it's more so just like a nitpick thing because I don't necessarily like the vocal like singing at the end of the song where it's just kind of like a what's the name, but that's also just a personal thing. I don't like when a song has weird talking in the background or like random vocals in the background or whatever. That's just a personal preference. And then MTB whatever that stands for, might be my favorite song. I'm not gonna lie, because I really like how Pharrell like starts walking into this out. No, it's not this one. It's the next one. This one, I like this one. I like this song. I like every single song on the album, of course, but and particularly I like track 8, EBITDA, because I just like how Pharrell walked in there. He had his verse, and his verse was actually really interesting to me when I first listened to it because it was something when I'm listening to clips, their like flow is a little bit slower, which is okay. Lyricists slowing down their flow to make sure that the words hit is amazing. But there is like a nice little refresher when you hear Pharrell like spitting fast as hell. Well, trying to spit like somewhat fast as hell. You know what I mean? And it's really captivating. I like the verse. And then you go on to the song, and then how kind of upbeat the beat is, and it makes me feel great. Also, if you see me like trying to catch it, it's because it's a fly over here, bitch ass fly. And then we have FICO. FICO. This one is hard as a bitch too. I ain't gonna lie. This the got me inside out. And then got me inside. Yeah. I like this one. I like this one. The hook is really good. I fuck with it. You know what I mean? Inglorious Bastards. I like this one too. Ain't gonna. They're just. I'm just gonna say. I like every single song. I like every single song. I like every single song. I ain't gonna lie. So far ahead, that verse. I mean, not that verse, that hook from Pharrell, it does something to me, you know what I mean? So far ahead, and niggas behind. Like, bro, he was spitting, bro. He was spitting. Let him sort the title track of the album. Let him sort it out. I like this one too. I wasn't necessarily a big fan of Nas's contribution to the song. I felt like it was just kind of like a throw on thing, but he was spitting. Of course, you gotta put some respect on the unks of rap. You know what I mean? Nas, he never gonna give like a trash verse. I just feel like this song that wasn't necessarily needing of that extra push. And then By the Grace of God, obviously, is a very triumphant song. It's about, talking about how they seen a lot of people in the industry, lose everything, lose their fame, lose pretty much their whole livelihood and or life. But they were able to, stay together and keep it pushing by the grace of God, which is why, let God sort them out. It's just kind of like a victory lap, and it also shows the connection of pretty much brothers. You know what I mean? At this point, Pusha T, his actual brother, and then Pharrell, them being so close knit when it came to making music at the time. You know what I mean? Because Clips was a group that was very prominent, 15, 12, whatever years ago. They were doing a great job. Of course, Pusha T went on his own, and Malice kind of stepped away from rapping. And Pusha T has always had, various success, you know what I mean? After beating, Drake in the battle, having the great album, Daytona, and then having Almost Dry a few years after that. He's had, he's done a very phenomenal job of keeping his relevance without having to be like super gimmicky or whatever, right? And also this rollout for this album is actually really interesting to me because it started off with just the starting picking on freaking Travis, which womp Travis, whatever you want to call it, bro. I still love that guy though. I ain't even gonna lie, he makes some good music, but you know Travis is a good person to pick on when you're trying to have a rollout. And with the success of this album selling over 100K first week, which is not an easy task in big 2025, is actually really difficult. I'm actually very proud, especially it selling that much while also having such little, such like the runtime is only 40 minutes. You know what I mean? Like he didn't put 30 songs on the album or whatever, and then it just went stupid because of that. You know what I mean? So again, I'm a little bit late, but it's fire. Now before I head out, let me just open up this. You know what I mean? Let me open this up real quick. I done opened this joint up. You know what I mean? I got the deluxe little box or whatever. And I think I got the what's the name? Hold up. Let me see. The thing is, when I bought this, I didn't know it was like a DVD. A CD. I thought it was a vinyl. So I'm gonna have to buy the vinyl, soonish. But hey, it is what it is, right? I don't even have a vinyl player. I just like vinyls. They look cool. So I got the T. So first off, got the CD. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna open it up because this shit hard as a bitch. I ain't gonna lie. Keep it packed in. I'm gonna keep it in the box actually. And then I got a large. You know what I mean? Now this is actually a pretty solid material too. I ain't gonna lie. This is about to be stupid. Boy, boy, I'm about to go stupid in this. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. I ain't even gonna lie. This is hard as a bitch, bruh. I ain't even gonna lie. This hard as a bitch, bruh. Hold up. Them boys was cooking.